A to Z. The Government Digital Service Style Guide covers style, spelling and grammar conventions for all content published on Gov.uk, arranged alphabetically. About the A to Z. These style points apply to all content published on Gov.uk. It includes guidance on specific points of style, such as abbreviations and numbers. Gov.uk style for specific words and phrases, in terms of spelling, hyphenation and capitalization. Back to contents. If there's a point of style that is not covered here, check the Guardian Style Guide. theguardian.com/guardian-observer-style-guide-a closing parenthesis. You can search the style guide by 1. Selecting Show All Sections. 2. Pressing Ctrl+F on your keyboard if you're using a PC or +F if you're using a Mac. 3. Typing the word or search term that you're looking for. Suggest a change or addition. If you're a publisher or content designer in government, you can suggest an addition, change or clarification to the style guide. Before you suggest a change, check if your suggested entry is in the Gov.uk Style Guide or the Guardian Style Guide. theguardian.com/guardian-observer-style-guide-a closing parenthesis. If your suggestion is in the Guardian Style Guide, you'll need to explain why Gov.uk should have a separate entry specifically for Gov.uk. If your suggestion is about Gov.uk's tone of voice, this is included in the writing for Gov.uk guidance. You should consider whether there's a cross-government need for a consistent way to refer to or use something. Most entries in the Gov.uk Style Guide do not include a definition but explain how to use thetem. All entries in the Gov.uk Style Guide should be plain English rather than jargon. How to suggest a change. You can suggest a change by raising a support ticket, _request, new. You'll need a Gov.uk Signon account. If you do not have a Gov.uk Signon account, contact your organization's Gov.uk lead or managing editor to send a ticket on your behalf. In your request include what you're suggesting to add, change or remove, the reason for the suggestion, what the style guide currently says, if you're suggesting a change to an existing entry, evidence to support the change, for example, user insights or research. What happens next? All suggested changes are reviewed once a month by content designers and technical writers at the Government Digital Service, GRANS. You'll be told if your suggestion has been approved and published in the style guide has been rejected. You'll be given more information about why your suggestion was rejected. Needs more information before we can make a decision. A**S. The top grade in A levels. Use the symbol not the word. Star. No apostrophe in the plural. A level. No hyphen. Lower case level. Abbreviations and acronyms. The first time you use an abbreviation or acronym, explain it in full on each page unless it's well known, like UK, DVLA, USA, EU, VAT and MP. This includes government departments or schemes. Then refer to it by initials. Always use acronym markdown, markdown #acronyms, so the full explanation is available as hover text. If you think an acronym is well known, please provide evidence that 80% of the UK population will understand and commonly use it. Evidence can be from search analytics or testing of a representative sample. Do not use full stops in abbreviations. BBC, not BC. The Academy's program. Lowercase. Academy. Only use uppercase when referring to the name of an academy, like Mossbourne Community Academy. See also titles. Academy Converters lowercase. Academy Order lowercase. Academy Trust lowercase. Access to work. Uppercase when referring directly to the actual program. Otherwise use lowercase. Accountancy Service Provider. Uppercase when referring to the business area covered by money laundering regulations. Do not use the acronym. Accounts Office. Uppercase. Activation PIN. Uppercase. Activation PIN has been changed to activation code on outgoing correspondence from the government gateway. Until all hard-coded instances of activation PIN have been removed from the online services pages, use activation code, also known as activation PIN. Act of Parliament. Lowercase. Only use uppercase when using the full title. Planning and Compulsory Purchase Act 2004, for example. Active voice. Use the active rather than passive voice. This will help us write concise, clear content. Addresses in the UK. Start each part of the address on a new line. You should write the town and postcode on separate lines, not use commas at the end of each line. Write the country on the line after the postcode, not before. Only include a country if there is a reasonable chance that the user will be writing to the address from a different country, for example. HM Revenue and Customs Child Benefit Office PO Box 1 Newcastle upon Tyne NE 881AA United Kingdom. Addressing the user. Address the user as you, where possible, and avoid using gendered pronouns like he and she. Content on the site often makes a direct appeal to citizens and businesses to get involved or take action. You can contact HMRC by phone and email, or pay your car tax, for example. Adoption Register. Uppercase when referring to the National Adoption Register. Lowercase in subsequent mentions that do not use the full term, the register. Advisor. For example, special advisor, not advisor. Boot advisory is the correct adjective. Ages. Do not use hyphens in ages unless to avoid confusion, although it's always best to write in a way that avoids ambiguity. For example, a class of 15-16-year-old students took the A-level course. Can be written as 15 students aged 16 took the A-level course. Use aged 4 to 16 years, not 4 to 16 years. Avoid using the over 50s or under -18s. Instead, make it clear who's included, aged 50 years and over, and aged 17 and under. Agile. Uppercase when referring to the Agile Manifesto and principles and processes, otherwise use lowercase. Allow list. Use allow list as the noun and allow as the verb. Do not use white list or whitelist. Al-Qaeda. Not Al-Qaeda or Al-Qaeda. Alternative provision. Lowercase. American and UK English. Use UK English spelling and grammar. For example, use organize, not organize, modeling knit, modeling, and fill in a form, not fill out a form. American proper nouns, like 4th Mechanized Brigade or Pearl Harbor, take American English spelling. Ampersand. Use and rather than and, unless it's a department's logo image or a company's name as it appears on the company's house register. Animal health. Lowercase. Antisocial. No hyphen. Applied general qualifications lowercase. Apprenticeship program lowercase. A road. Hyphenated. Armed forces. Lowercase. Arm's length body. Apostrophe. No hyphen. Assembly ministers. Lowercase. Artificial intelligence. Write first as artificial intelligence, AI, then A throughout. Attendance allowance uppercase. BBACS, Bankers Automated Clearing System, acronym should come first as it's more widely known than the full name. Please note that the acronym has changed to BACS. Back-end. Used in a technical context, not back-end or back-end. Bank details. When adding bank details, do not use a table. Use bullet points and allied in line. Instead use spaces rather than hyphens in sort codes 60, 70, 80, not 60, 70, 80. Avoid using spaces in account numbers unless they are very long, like an international bank account number, for example. Transfer the fee to the following account within 5 working days of emailing your form. Sort code 802650. Account number 10,014,069. Account name the public trustee. Banned words see words to avoid baseline. One word, lowercase. Behavioral insights team. Uppercase if it's a specific, named team. Always lowercase for team and generic names like a search team, youth offending team. Bereavement payment. Uppercase. Billions. Always use billion in money, and million, 138 billion pounds. Use billions in phrases. Billions of people. Do not use £0, X billion for amounts less than £1 billion, unless it's in a sequence where you're talking about amounts above £1 billion. For example, there was £15.6 billion spent in August 2024, an increase of £0.2 billion. If you're using it outside of the sequence again, use £2 million. Do not abbreviate billion to B. Blind person's allowance. Uppercase. Block list. Use block list as the noun and block as the verb. Do not use blacklist or blacklist. Blog post. Use two words when referring to an article published on a blog. A blog is the site on which a blog post is published. Board. Always lowercase unless it's part of a proper title, so uppercase for the Judicial Executive Board, but lowercase for the DFT's Management Board. Bold. Only use bold to indicate interface elements in text that are explicitly telling the user what to do, for example. 1. Select Start. 2. Enter your information then select Done. Use inverted commas when referring to interface elements in non-instructional contexts. For example, the Done button will always be at the bottom of the page. Use bold sparingly. Using too much will make it difficult for users to know which parts of your content they need to pay the most attention to. Do not use bold in other situations, for example to emphasize text. To emphasize words or phrases, you can front-load sentences. Use headings, guidance, content design, writing for GovUK headings. Use bullets, guidance, style guide, A to Z of GovUK style bullet points steps. Brackets. Use round brackets. Do not use round brackets to refer to something that could either be singular or plural, like, check which documents you need to send to DVLA. Always use the plural instead, as this will cover each possibility. Check which documents you need to send to DVLA. Use square brackets for explanatory notes in reported speech or for placeholder text. Thank you, Foreign Minister, Mr. Smith. Witnessed by, signature of witness. Brexit. You can use the term Brexit to provide historical context, but it's better to use specific dates where possible. For example, use the 31st of December 2020, rather than Brexit, often the UK left the EU, before the 31st of December 2020, rather than during the transition period, after the 1st of January 2021, rather than after the transition period. Britain. See Great Britain. British citizen. One of 6 types of British nationalities. See British people. British national. See British people. British people. Reference British nationals by their activity where possible. For example, British tourists, British farmers. If you're talking about them in the general sense, use British people. Do not use British nationals unless you need to refer to them in a legal context, for example in eligibility criteria. Do not use British citizen unless you're referring to people with that particular type of British nationality. BTEC National Diploma. Uppercase. Bullet points and steps. You can use bullets to make text easier to read. Make sure that you always use a lead in line. You use more than one bullet. The bullets make sense running on from the lead in line. You use lowercase at the start of the bullet. You do not use more than one sentence per bullet. Use commas or dashes to expand on anatom. You do not put or, and after the bullets. You do not make the whole bullet a link. If it's a long phrase, you do not put a semicolon at the end of a bullet. There is no full stop after the last bullet. Bullets should normally form a complete sentence following from the lead text. but it's sometimes necessary to add a short phrase to clarify whether all or some of the points apply. For example, you can only register a pension scheme that is one of the following. The number and type of examples in a list may lead the user to believe the list is exhaustive. This can be dealt with by checking if there are other conditions, or if the list is actually complete, listing the conditions which apply to the most users and removing the rest. Consider broader terms in the list which capture more scenarios, and could make the list exhaustive. Creating a journey to specialist content to cover the remaining conditions. Steps. Use numbered steps instead of bullet points to guide a user through a process. You do not need a lead in line, and you can use links and downloads, with appropriate markdown, in steps. Steps end in a full stop because each should be a complete sentence. Business Continuity Management lowercase. Business Identifier Code, BIC. BIC stands for Business Identifier Code. It was previously known as Bank Identifier Code, Bank International Code, or Bank Identification Code. Make sure all words are capitalized. For example, BIC, Business Identifier Code, previously Bank Identifier Code. Business Plan. Lowercase. Do not use uppercase even in the title of a business plan publication. Business Statement lowercase. CEC of E. For Church of England when referring to shul names. Cabinet. The cabinet is lowercase. Capital gains tax. Uppercase. Capitalization. Do not use block capitals for large amounts of text as it's quite hard to read. Always use sentence case, even in page titles and service names. The exceptions to this are pronouns, including departments, specific government department. See below, the civil service, with lowercase for the. Specific job titles, guidance, style guide, A to Z of gov.uk style #job titles. Titles like Mr., Mrs., Drive, the Duke of Cambridge, the Duke at second mention, Pope Francis, but a Pope Right Honourable, no full stops. Buildings. Place names. Brand names. Faculties, departments, institutes and schools. Names of groups, directorates and organizations, Knowledge and Innovation Group. Parliament, the House. Titles of specific acts or bills, Housing Reform Bill, but use the Act, or the Bill, after the first time you use the full act or bill title. Names of specific, named government schemes known to people outside government. Right to buy, King's Awards for Enterprise. Specific select committees, Public Administration Select Committee. Header cells in tables, annual profits. Titles of books, and within single quotes, for example, the Study Skills Handbook, World War I and World War II. Note caps and numbers, do not capitalize. Government. See government, gov.uk style #government. Minister, never minister, unless part of a specific job title, like Minister for the Cabinet Office, Department or Ministry. Never department or ministry, unless referring to a specific one. Ministry of Justice, for example White Paper, Green Paper, Command Paper, House of Commons Paper. Budget, Autumn Statement, Spring Statement, unless referring to and using the full name of a specific statement, for example, 2016 budget, sections or schedules within specific named acts, regulations or orders. Director General, no hyphen. Deputy Director, Director, unless in a specific job title. Group and Directorate, unless referring to a specific group or directorate. The Commercial Directorate, for example Departmental Board, Executive Board. The board policy themes like sustainable communities, promoting economic growth, local enterprise zones. General mention of select committees, but DOCAP specific ones. See above. The military. Capitals for government departments. Use the following conventions for government departments. A department using an ampersand in its logo image is fine, but use and when writing in full text. Attorney General's Office, AGO, Cabinet Office, CO. Department for Business and Trade, DBT, Department for Culture, Media and Sport, DCMS, Department for Education, DF. Department for Energy Security and Net Zero, DESNZ, Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, Department for Science, Innovation and Technology, DSIT, Department for Transport, DFT. Department for Work and Pensions, DWP, Department of Health and Social Care, DHSC, Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, Home Treasury, HMT. Home Office, HO. Ministry of Defense, MOD. Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, MHCLG, Ministry of Justice, MOJ. Care Worker. 2 words, lower case. Chair of Governors. Lower case. Chairman, Chairwoman, Chairperson lower case in text. Uppercase in titles. Spencer Tracy, Chairman, GDS. Change Notes. See Change Notes, Guidance, Content Design, Writing for GovOrg #change-notes, in the Content Design Manual. Changelog. Not, changelog. CHAPS, Clearinghouse Automated Payment System, the acronym should come first as it's more widely known than the full name. Checkbox. Not, checkbox. Chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear, CBRN, materials lowercase. Use uppercase for the acronym. Chief Constable. Lowercase except where it's a title with the holder's name, like Chief Constable Andrew Trotter. Child Benefit. Uppercase. Child Tax Credit. Uppercase, but generic references to tax credits are lowercase. Childcare. Lowercase. Childcare Grant. Uppercase. Childminder, childminding. 1 word. Children in Need. Uppercase for the BBC fundraising event, lowercase for Children in Need census. Civil Contingencies Secretariat uppercase because it's the name of an organization. Civil Service. Uppercase. Civil Servants. Lowercase. Classwork. 1 word. Click. Don't use click when talking about user interfaces because not all users click. Use. Select. You can use right-click if the user needs right-click to open up a list of options to progress through the user journey. Coalition. Lowercase in all instances, including the coalition. CO2. Use capital letters and a regular 2. Coast Guard. Lowercase. Code of Practice. Lowercase. Command Paper. Lowercase. Commercial software. Not third-party software. Also use commercial for types of software, for example, commercial word processor. Community Care Grant. Uppercase. Community Resilience. Lowercase. Community, voluntary and foundation schools lowercase. Competence Order. Lowercase unless used in the full title, like the National Assembly for Wales, Legislative Competence, Social Welfare, Order 2008. Components that control other components in technical writing, use. Primary for a component that controls other components. Secondary for a component that's controlled by the primary component. Do not use master or slave. Conduct of business rules. Lowercase. Construction industry scheme. Use uppercase when referring to the actual construction industry scheme, CIS, not the CIS. Construction industry scheme online, CIS-online uppercase. Consultation responses. Lowercase. Continuous improvement. Lowercase. Contractions. Avoid negative contractions like can't and don't. Many users find them harder to read, or misread them as the opposite of what they say. Use cannot instead of can't. Avoid should've, could've, would've, they've too. These can also be hard to read. Cooperation. Hyphenated. Core standards. Lowercase. Corporation tax. Uppercase. Corporation tax for agents online service uppercase. Corporation tax online. Use uppercase online if referring to the actual service, not if you're describing using the service. You can pay your corporation tax online or at the post office. COTS. Meaning, commercial off-the-shelf software. Not, COTS, or, COTS. Explain the acronym at first use. Council. Use lowercase when writing about local councils in general. Use capitals for the official name of a local council. For example, Reading Borough Council, Warwick District Council, and Swanage Town Council. Council tax. Uppercase. Countries and territories. When referring to a country or territory, use the names listed in the Country Register or Territory Register, 4F 28B 495 640 CDC 7E 8F 7F, Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office Geographical Names Index. County Court. Uppercase as it represents a single court system. Coursework. One word. COVID-19. Uppercase. Do not use COVID-19 with only the first letter capitalized. COVID-19 feet lowercase. Coronavirus, as COVID-19, is the specific condition. Credit unions. Lowercase. Critical national infrastructure lowercase. Critical worker. Lowercase. Used to define workers critical to an emergency response whose children get prioritized for school attendance. It is not the same as an essential worker. Use critical worker only in relation to educational provision. Do not use key worker. Cross-curricular learning. Hyphenated. Crown servants. Lowercase. Curriculums. Not curricular. Customs duty. Lowercase. Customs union. Lowercase. Only use uppercase when part of the title of a specific customs union. The European Union Customs Union, for example. Cyberbullying. Two words. Lowercase. Data. Treat as a singular noun. The data is stored on a secure server. Data center. Not data center. Data set. Not dataset. Data store. Not data store. Dates. Use uppercase for months. January, February. Do not use a comma between the month and year. The 4th of June 2017 when space is an issue in tables or publication titles. For example, you can use truncated months, Jan, Feb. We use 2 in date ranges, not hyphens, N rules or M dashes. For example, tax year 2011 to 2012 Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Put different days on a new line. Do not separate with a comma. The 10th of November to the 21st of December. Do not use quarter for dates. Use the months. Department expenses, Jan to March 2013. When referring to today, as in a news article, include the date. The minister announced today, the 14th of June 2012, that. Read more about dates, for Gov.org #date-ranges. Daycare Trust. Two words. Uppercase. Dedicated Schools Grant. Lowercase. Defense. Lowercase even when referring to the defense team at the MOD. Defense team. Lowercase. Department. Lowercase except when in the title. The Department of Health and Social Care. Devolved administrations. Use devolved governments instead. Devolved governments. Lowercase. DevOps. Similarly, use WebOps. Diploma. Lowercase unless part of a title like edXL L2 Diploma in IT. Direct debit uppercase. Direct debit instruction. Uppercase. Director. Lowercase in text. Uppercase in titles. Spencer Tracy, Director, GDS. Director General. Lowercase. No hyphen. Disability Living Allowance uppercase. Disabled people. Not the disabled, or people with disabilities. Read more about words to use and avoid when writing about disability, communication, inclusive language words to use and avoid when writing about disability. Dispensation. Lowercase. Discretionary housing payment uppercase. Duty deferment electronic statements, DDES, uppercase. Early career teacher, ECT. Lowercase. Early years. Lowercase. Early years foundation stage, EYFS, lowercase. Early years professional status lowercase. Early years teacher, lowercase. Early years teacher status, lowercase. The Earth, uppercase for the Earth, planet Earth and Earth sciences, with lowercase for the. East End, London, uppercase. EBAC, a performance measure linked to GCSEs, uppercase E and B. EC sales list, ESL. The acronym is ESL, not ECSL. Eco schools, hyphenated. Education, health and care plan lowercase. E.g., etc. and i.e. E.g. can sometimes be read aloud as egg by screen reading software. Instead use, for example, or, such as, or, like, or, including, whichever works best in the specific context. Etc. can usually be avoided. Try using, for example, or, such as, or, like, or, including. Never use etc. at the end of a list starting with these words. I.e. used to clarify a sentence is not always well understood. Try, writing sentences to avoid the need to use it. If that is not possible, use an alternative such as, meaning, or, that is. Email. One word. Email addresses. Write email addresses in full, in lowercase and as active links. Do not include any other words in the link text. Emergency plan. Lowercase. Employment and support allowance, new style income related, uppercase. Use. New style employment and support allowance, ESA, the first time the benefit name is used. From then on, you can use new style ESA. Use income related employment and support allowance, ESA, the first time the benefit name is used. From then on, you can use the abbreviation as long as you put income related first, for example, income related ESA. You can use employment and support allowance, ESA, and the acronym ESA, if you need to refer to both benefits at the same time. Endpoint. Not endpoint, in the context of APIS. Enroll. Lowercase. Enrolling. Lowercase. Enrollment. Lowercase. Ethnic minorities. Refer to ethnic minority groups individually, rather than as a single group. Where it's absolutely necessary to group people from different ethnic minority backgrounds, use ethnic minorities, or people from ethnic minority backgrounds. Do not use the terms BAME, Black, Asian and minority ethnic, and BME, Black and minority ethnic. These terms emphasize certain ethnic minority groups, Asian and Black, and exclude others, mixed, other and white ethnic minority groups. See the Writing about Ethnicity Guidance, figures.service.gov.uk/style-guide/writing-about-ethnicity/closing parenthesis for more details. European Commission. Leave unabbreviated to distinguish from the European Community. Write out in full at first mention, then call it the Commission. European Economic Area, EEA. Avoid using as it is not widely understood. Say the EU, Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein. When rules covering the EEA also cover Switzerland, say, the EU, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein. European Union versus European Community. EU when you mean EU member states, EU countries, EU businesses, EU consumers, goods exported from the EU, EU VAT numbers. EC should be used when it's EC directives, ex-sales list. Euros, the euro. Lowercase, if referring to the currency, etc. CEG, etc. and IE. Excel spreadsheet. Uppercase because Excel is a brand name. Executive Director. Lowercase in text. Uppercase in titles. Spencer Tracy, Executive Director, GDS. Extended Project Qualification uppercase. Extracurricular. Hyphenated. FAQs, frequently asked questions. Do not use FAQs on Gov.uk. If you write content by starting with user needs, you will not need TOW's FAQs. Read more about FAQs, for Gov.uk #don't-use FAQs. Finance and procurement. Lowercase. Fine. Use fine instead of financial penalty. For example, you'll pay a £50 fine. For other types of sanction, say what will happen to the user, you'll get points on your license, go to court and so on. Only say civil penalty if there's evidence users are searching for the term. Describe what the user might need to do, rather than what government calls a thing. Fire and rescue service lowercase. Fixed period exclusions. Hyphenated. Foot and mouth disease. Lowercase. Foundation degrees. Lowercase. Foundation schools. Lowercase. Foundation stage, foundation subjects lowercase. Foundation trust. Lowercase unless the full name of the foundation trust is being used. Salisbury NHS Foundation Trust. Free school. Lowercase. The Free Schools Program lowercase. Free school meals lowercase. Freedom of information. You can make a Freedom of Information, FOI, request, but not a request under the FOI Act. Front end. Not, front end, or, front end. Full payment submission uppercase. Funding agreement lowercase. Further education, FE, lowercase. GGCSE, GCSEs. No full stops between the initials. No apostrophe in the plural. Gender. Make sure text is gender neutral wherever possible, such as them, the, or they. If you do need to refer to gender, use women and men rather than males and females. For example, 33% of our senior leaders are women. General election. Lowercase, but uppercase if referring to a specific election. For example, the 2019 general election. Geography and regions. Use lowercase for north, south, east and west, except when they're part of a name or recognized region. So, the southwest, compass direction, but for southwest, administrative region. Use lowercase for the north, the south of England, the southwest, northeast Scotland, South Wales, the west, Western Europe, the Far East, Southeast Asia. Use uppercase for East End, West End, London, East Midlands, West Midlands, Middle East, Central America, South America. Always write out the full name of the area the first time you use it. You can use a capital for a shortened version of a specific area or region if it's commonly known by that name, like the pole for the North Pole. GRI. Not GRI. Governing body. Singular noun. The governing body is meeting today. It will decide who to appoint. Government. Lowercase unless it's a full title. For example, UK Government, but His Majesty's Government of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Also, Welsh Government, as it's the full title. Government offices. Lowercase. Government procurement card lowercase. Governor. Lowercase. Government UK. All uppercase. Government UK 1 login. Title case. Always use the full name. Governor or chronologian. Not one login, login or acronyms. Do not refer to Gov. UK 1 login as an account. This helps avoid confusion with other government accounts. For signing into a service use, sign in with Gov. UK 1 login. For signing into your Gov. UK 1 login, use a sign into your Gov. UK 1 login. Use sign in details not Governor UK 1 login details to refer to the information you sign in with, for example your email address and password. See also sign in or log in. Grammar school. Lowercase unless part of a school name. The Manchester Grammar School. Great Britain. Refers only to England, Scotland and Wales and thus not include Northern Ireland. Use Great Britain, England, Scotland and Wales, in the first instance. Where possible, you should also make a specific point of saying that Northern Ireland is not included. For example, these rules apply to Great Britain, England, Scotland and Wales. This does not include Northern Ireland. Use Great Britain in subsequent mentions on thepage. Britain use UK and United Kingdom in preference to Britain and British, UK Business, UK Foreign Policy, Ambassador and High Commissioner. But British Embassy, not UK Embassy. Green Deal. Uppercase because it's the name of a program, but note that it's Green Deal Program, Green Deal Team, Green Deal Assessment. Green Paper. Lowercase. Group. Uppercase for names of groups, directorates and organizations, Knowledge and Innovation Group. Lowercase when a group has a very generic title-like working group or research team. Guardian's Allowance. Uppercase. Guidance. Lowercase, National Recovery Guidance. Gypsies. Uppercase because gypsies are legally recognized as an ethnic group. Harbour Authority. Lowercase unless part of a proper noun, Cardiff Harbour Authority. Harbour Master. Lowercase. Hazardous Waste Registration lowercase. Head Teacher. One word. You can use head if the context is clear. Health Protection Unit. Lowercase unless it's the title of an organization. North East and Central London Health Protection Unit. Help Desk. Not Help Desk. High Attaining Pupils hyphenated. Higher Education, lowercase. Holocaust. Uppercase. Home School Agreement. Hyphenated. Homepage. Lowercase. HTTPS. Uppercase. No need to explain the acronym if it's used in content for a technical audience. Human Resources. Lowercase. Hurricane. Uppercase for named hurricanes. Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Sandy. Hyphenation. Hyphenate. Rewords starting with E, like re-evaluate coordinate. Cooperate. Do not hyphenate. Reuse. Reinvent. Reorder. Reopen. Email. Do not use a hyphen unless it's confusing without it. For example, a little used car is different from a little used car. You can also refer to the Guardian Style Guide. theguardian.com/guardianobserver-style-guide-h closing parenthesis for advice on hyphenation. Use to for time and data ranges, not hyphens. IIS stands for Infrastructure as a Service. Explain the acronym at first use. ID. In technical writing, don't write identification or identifier unless it's part of a standard abbreviation. For example, unique identifier, UID, IE, CEG, etc. and IE. Import control system uppercase. Implementation period always lowercase. Inclusion statement lowercase. Income support all names of benefits are uppercase. Income tax. Names of taxes are uppercase, except input tax. Independent schools adjudicator. Lowercase. Individual education plan. Lowercase. Individual schools budget. Lowercase. Initial teacher training. Lowercase. Input tax. Lowercase. Inset day. Lowercase. Instrument of government. Lowercase. International baccalaureate. Uppercase. Internet. Lowercase. Intrastat supplementary declaration uppercase. IP. When used in the technical context, for example, Internet Protocol, there's no need to explain the acronym. Italics. Do not use italics. Use single quotation marks if referring to a document, scheme or initiative. J. Job titles. Specific job titles and ministers' role titles are uppercase. Minister for Housing, Home Secretary. Generic job titles and ministers' role titles are lowercase. Director, Minister. See also shadow job titles. Job seekers allowance, new style or income-based, uppercase. Always use the apostrophe before these. Use new style job seekers allowance, JSA, the first time the benefit name is used. From then on, you can use new style JSA. Use income-based job seekers allowance, JSA, the first time the benefit name is used. From then on, you can use the abbreviation as long as you put income-based first, for example, income-based JSA. You can use job seekers allowance, JSA, and the acronym JSA, if you need to refer to both benefits at the same time. Kanban. Uppercase when referring to the Kanban method, otherwise lowercase. Key stage. Lowercase and numeral. Key stage 4, the king. Uppercase K, lowercase t. Law. Lowercase even when it's the law. Legal aid. Lowercase. Legal content. Legal content can still be written in plain English. It's important that users understand content and that we present complicated information simply. If you have to publish legal jargon, it will be a publication, so write a plain English summary. Where evidence shows there's a clear user need for including a legal term, like bona vacantia, always explain it in plain English. Read more about writing legal content, for gov.uk/legal-content. Legislative Competence Order. Uppercase if used as the full title. The National Assembly for Wales, Legislative Competence, Social Welfare, Order 2008. Lowercase otherwise. The Legislative Competence Orders, LCOs, are approved, rejected or withdrawn. Liaison Officers. Lowercase. Life cycle. Not life cycle, or life cycle. Links. Front-load your link text with the relevant terms and make them active and specific. Always link to online services first. Offer offline alternatives afterwards, when possible. Learn more about links. Lists. Lists should be bulleted to make them easier to read. See bullets and steps. Very long lists can be written as a paragraph with a lead-in sentence if it looks better. The following countries are in the EU: Spain, France, Italy. In an alphanumeric list, put entries that start with numbers before entries that start with letters. Order the numbers numerically in the correct order for the whole number. Local authority. Lowercase. Do not use LA. When referring to local government, use local council instead of local authority where possible. See also council, guidance, style guide, A to Z of gov.uk style #council. Local authority trading standards services uppercase as long as it's a specific named organization, not trading standards services in general. Local council. Lowercase. When referring to local government, use local council instead of local authority where possible. See also council, guidance, style guide, A to Z of gov.uk style #council. Logbook. 2 words. Login. See sign in or log in and gov.uk 1 login. Looked after children. Hyphenated. Lottery. Always use the National Lottery if that's what you mean. Lunchtime 1 word. Machine Games Duty, MGD. Uppercase. Machine Games Duty for Agents Online Service uppercase. Mainstream Schools. Lowercase. Maintained Schools, Maintained Nursery Schools lowercase. Mark Scheme, Mark Sheet. Lowercase. Maths Content. Use a minus sign for negative numbers. 6 ratios have no space either side of the colon. 5 12 1 space each side of symbols. Plus, times, divided by and equals, so, 2 plus 2 equals 4, use the minus sign for subtraction. Use the correct symbol for the multiplication sign, times, not the letter X. Write out and hyphenate fractions. 2/3, 3/4. Write out decimal fractions as numerals. Use the same number format for a sequence. 0.75 and 0.45. MD5. Used in a technical context, there's no need to explain the acronym. Measurements. Use numerals and spell out measurements at first mention. Do not use a space between the numeral and abbreviated measurement. 3,500 kilograms, not 3,500 kilograms. Abbreviating kilograms to kilogram is fine, you do not need to spell it out. Use grams, not grams. For example, micrograms, milligrams. If the measurement is more than one word, like kilometers per hour, then spell it out the first time it's used with the abbreviation. From then on, abbreviate. If it's only mentioned once, do not abbreviate. Use Celsius for temperature. 37 degrees Celsius. Member states of the EU lowercase. Memorandum of Understanding lowercase. Metadata. Not metadata. Metaphors. See words to avoid. Megahertz. Not megahertz. Middle East. Uppercase. Middle deemed primary school, middle deemed secondary school hyphenated. Midlands. Uppercase. Migrate. When talking about software, not migrate over. Mileage allowance payments. Uppercase. Military. Lowercase. Millions. Always use million in money, and billion, 138 million pounds. Use millions in phrases. Millions of people. Do not use £0, X million for amounts less than £1 million, unless it's in a sequence where you're talking about amounts above £1 million. For example, there was £15.6 million spent in August 2024, an increase of £0.2 million. If you're using it outside of the sequence again, use £200,000. Do not abbreviate million to M. Minister. Use uppercase for the full title, like Minister for Overseas Development, or when used with a name, as a title, like Health Minister Norman Lamb. When used without the name, shortened titles are lowercase. The Health Minister welcomed the research team. MIT license. Note the spelling. Mixed age class. Hyphenated. Mixed sex schools. Hyphenated. MLA. Do not use Member of the Legislative Assembly, Northern Ireland, just MLA. Modern foreign languages. Lowercase. Money. Use the pound symbol. £75. Do not use decimals unless pence are included. £75 and 50 pence, but not £75. Do not use £0, X million, or £0, X billion, for amounts less than £1 million or billion. The exception is when it's in a sequence where you're talking about amounts above £1 million or billion. For example, there was £15.6 billion spent in August 2024, an increase of £0.2 billion. If you're using it outside of the sequence again, use £2 million. Write out pence in full. Calls will cost 4 pence per minute from a landline. Currencies are lowercase. Money laundering. Lowercase when referring to the activity, not the regulation. Months. See dates. MP. Do not use Member of Parliament, just MP. MS. Do not use Member of the Senedd, Wales, just MS. MSP. Do not use Member of the Scottish Parliament, just MSP. Multi-Academy Trust hyphenated. Multidisciplinary one word. Multi-ethnic hyphenated. Multi-year funding hyphenated. Multilingual one word. NN-A. Do not use N-A in empty cells in tables. Use NODATA or not applicable instead. Names and personal titles. Use a person's full name the first time you mention them. Only include personal titles if they're relevant to your content. For example, it might be relevant to include the job title, guidance, style guide, A to Z hashtag job titles, beforehand, like, Prime Minister, an academic title like, Doctor, or, Professor, an honorary title like, Sir, or, Dame, a military title like, Admiral, or, General, letters like, OBE, MP, or, KC, After their name, if they're a member of the House of Lords, use their official title instead. You can search the members of the House of Lords to find that information. When you mention a person again, use one of the following: the job title, guidance, style guide, A to Z hashtag job titles. A title and their surname, like Mr., Ms., Lord, Baroness, or Dr. Use, Ms for women without another title, unless they've expressed a preference for Mrs. or Miss. A title and their first name, if you previously used their honorary title and they have a knighthood or damehood, like Sir Mark, or Dame Helen. Just their first name. In more informal content, avoid using titles from other languages, like her or madam. National curriculum. Lowercase. National curriculum tests, do not call them SATs. National insurance card, uppercase. National insurance contributions, uppercase. National insurance number, uppercase. Not Nino. National living wage, uppercase. National minimum wage, uppercase. National occupational standards, lowercase. National pupil database. Lowercase. National scholarship fund. Lowercase. NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, uppercase. .NET. For the programming language, not .NET, or .NET. New Computerized Transit System, NCTS, uppercase. New Export System, NES. Uppercase. Newly Qualified Teacher. Use Early Career Teacher, ECT, instead. Non-Executive Director. Lowercase in text, uppercase in titles, Spencer Tracy, Non-Executive Director, GDS. The North of England. Lowercase. Northeast, Northwest. Lowercase, hyphenated. Northern Ireland Assembly. Uppercase. Northern Ireland Civil Service, uppercase. Northern Ireland Executive. Uppercase. North Wales. Not a specific region of the UK. Nuclear Decommissioning Authority, uppercase. Numbers. Use 1, unless you're talking about a step, a point in a list, or another situation where using the numeral makes more sense. In point 1 of the design instructions, for example. Or this. You'll be shown 14 clips that feature everyday road scenes. There will be 1 developing hazard in 13 clips, 2 developing hazards in the other clip. Write all other numbers in numerals, including 2 to 9, except where it's part of a common expression like 1 or 2 of them, where numerals would look strange. If a number starts a sentence, write it out in full, 34, for example, except where it starts a title or subheading. For numerals over 999, insert a comma for clarity. 9000. See how to use millions, Z hashtag millions, or how to use billions. Spell out common fractions like 1/2. Use a percent sign for percentages. 50%. Use a 0 where there's no digit before the decimal point, for example, 0.5 not 0.5. Use 0 degrees, not 0 degrees or 0 degrees. Use 500 to 900 feet and not 500 to 900, except intervals. Use MB for anything over 1 megabyte. 4 megabytes not 4096 kilobytes. Use KB for anything under 1 megabyte. 569 kilobytes not 0.55 megabytes. Keep it as accurate as possible and up to 2 decimal places. 4.03 megabytes. Addresses. Use to in address ranges. 49 to 53 Cherry Street. Ordinal numbers spell out 1st to 9th. After that use 10th, 11th and so on. In tables, use numerals throughout. Nursery school. Lowercase. O. Occupational pension. Lowercase. This term covers both company and public sector pension schemes. Only use this term if explaining tax rules that are specific to occupational pension schemes. Ofsted judgments. Lowercase and not in inverted commas. Westminster School was judged outstanding in its latest Ofsted inspection. There are 4 Ofsted grades. Outstanding, or Grade 1. Good, or Grade 2. Requires improvement, or Grade 3, inadequate, or Grade 4. 1 year on. If used adjectively, hyphenate and use one rather than one. Online. 1 word. Online services. Lowercase if the service name starts with a verb, write the sentence so the user knows what action they can take. For example, you can visit someone in prison by booking online. Only use uppercase if the name of the service you're referring to contains named thing. For example, you can apply for marriage allowance. Open source software. Not open source software, or OS software. Opposition. Lowercase even for the opposition and opposition leader. Or. Do not use slashes instead of or. For example, do this 3/4 times. Order. Lowercase unless used as the full title, standing at A22. Organizations. Use the singular verb form when referring to organizations by name. Use they when replacing an organization name with a pronoun. For example, HMPO is the sole issuer of UK passports. They will send your new passport within 3 weeks. The definite article can be used when referring to the organization by its full name, but should not be used with the organization's acronym. You should contact the Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency if, but you should contact DVSA if. You should only use we if it's clear which organization you're referring to. Read more about when to use we in content guidance, content design, writing for gov.uk/when-to-use-we. Use local council instead of local authority where possible. See also council guidance style guide @OZ of gov.uk style #council. Overseas trained teacher lowercase hyphenated. PPAS stands for Platform as a Service. Explain the acronym at first use. Pages and screens. You should usually be able to use statements like, when you continue, or refer to an interaction as R-step, if you need to help users understand where they are in their journey. If you ever need to describe what the user is actually interacting with, use page. This applies to both web and app interfaces. For example, keep this page open. You'll need to come back to this page later. Go back to the page you had open on your computer or tablet. Report a problem with this page. Do not use screen unless you're referring to part of a device, for example, the oval on your screen. User research by GDS noticed users use and understand the word page, even in the context of a mobile app. For example, they talk about the home page of the app, and not the home screen. You can use window or tab if you ever need to describe how a page will be shown in a user's web browser. For example, if you need a link to open in a new tab, include the words opens in new tab as part of the link text. Paper B. In national curriculum tests. Parliament. Uppercase. Parliamentary committees. Parliamentary is uppercase and committees is in lowercase. Parliamentary report. Parliamentary is uppercase and report is in lowercase. Patent box. When referring to the product, relief, regime, then say the patent box. Occasionally the definite article will be dropped, for example in calculations, where we use patent box deduction, and when using phrases like answers to your patent box questions. Pathfinder. Lowercase. Payroll. Lowercase. Pay, sys for agents online service uppercase. Pay coding notice. Uppercase. Pay online for employers. This can be abbreviated to Pay Online within the Pay Online for Employers area of the website. Pay Settlement Agreements, PSAs, uppercase. PDF. Uppercase. No need to explain the acronym. Penalty. See the entry for fine Guidance, style guide, a TOS of Gov style #fine. Pension provider. Lowercase. Not pension payer. Pension schemes for administrators lowercase on administrators. Pension schemes for practitioners lowercase on practitioners. Percent. Use percent not percent. Percentage is one word. Always use percent with a number. Performance management lowercase. Performance tables. Lowercase. Performance-related pay. Hyphenated. Personal independence payment uppercase. Physical education or P. You can write in full or use the initials. Plain English. Lowercase plain and uppercase English unless in a title. The Plain English campaign. All content on Gov. Should be written in plain English. You should also make sure you use language your audience will understand. Check which words you should avoid. Planet Earth. Uppercase. Please. There's usually no need to say, please, or, please note. Police. Lowercase, even when referring to the police. Police service. Lowercase. You can use police force when referring to a regional police body. Policy note. Lowercase. Policy statement. Lowercase. PowerPoint presentation. Uppercase because PowerPoint is a brand name. Preschool. Hyphenated. Primary Care Trust, PCT. Uppercase because it's the name of an organization. Prime Minister. Use Prime Minister Keir Starmer and the Prime Minister. Priority School Building Program lowercase. Private Members Bill uppercase. Probate, grant of probate lowercase. Probation Trust. Lowercase unless in a title, Hampshire Probation Trust. Proforma. Do not use proforma. Say what it is in plain English, a template or form, for example. Be specific about what to do with it. Program. Lowercase. Troubled Families Program, Sure Start Program. Progress 8 Measure. Uppercase P, lowercase m. Public Health. Lowercase. Public Sector. Lowercase. Pull Request. Lowercase. The same as GitHub does in its documentation. GitLab uses the term merge request. Pupil Premium lowercase. Pupil Referral Unit lowercase. Q Qualified Teacher Status. Lowercase. Quotes and speech marks. In long passages of speech, open quotes for every new paragraph, but close quotes only at the end of the final paragraph. Single quotes. Use single quotes. In headlines. For unusual terms only for the first mention when referring to words. When referring to publications. When referring to notifications such as emails or alerts, for example. Download the publication, Understanding Capital Gains Tax, PDF, 360 kilobytes. Double quotes. Use double quotes in body text for direct quotations. Block quotes. Use the block quote markdown, markdown block quotes, for quotes longer than a few sentences. R real-time information and RTI. This is an HMRC program and should only appear either with initial capitals or as an acronym for referring to the program itself. When describing customer processes, use common language phrases like, send your payroll information to HMRC, or, operate your payroll in real time. Do not say, send your payroll under RTI, or use the acronym, for example, in RTI, or, under RTI. When using real-time information in any other sense, it should be lowercase. Rebated Oils Inquiry Service. Uppercase. Recovery Structures. Lowercase. Reduced Earnings Allowance. Uppercase. References. References should be easy to understand by anyone, not just specialists. They should follow the style guide. When writing a reference, do not use italics. Use single quote marks around titles. Write out abbreviations in full. Page not P. Nutrition Journal not Nutter J. Use plain English, for example use, and others nit, al. Do not use full stops after initials or at the end of the reference if the reference is available online. Make the title a link and include the date you accessed the online version. Correlo and others. A systematic review of medical practice variation in OECD countries, 8,510%, 2,813%, 2,900,215. 7, full text, Health Policy 2014, Volume 114, pages 5 to 14, viewed on the 18th of November 2014. Reform Plan. Lowercase. Regional Resilience Team. Lowercase. Registered Dealers in Controlled Oils, RDCO, uppercase. Regulations. Uppercase in the full title. Licensing of Animal Dealers, Scotland, Regulations 2009. No comma before the date. Lowercase when referring to them. The Licensing of Animal Dealers Regulations. Religious Education. Lowercase. Resilience. Lowercase. Resilience Plans. Lowercase. Restful. In the context of APIS, not restful or restful.